let's hop right into this here. Key to the game. What do you got for me? Give me your key to the game.
Keys?
The key to the game. There's one key. What is it, Steve?
There's a lot of keys. You ever see a janitor with like 400 keys on his belt?
It's like a Super
There's
Bowl.
a lot of keys to this game.
Right.
Just kind of fundamentally, the team that doesn't turn the ball over probably will win. You got two great quarterbacks, and I think the Eagles have a better roster. Brett Veach, I know you're watching. They have a better roster.
Everybody who sat down here today, everybody went Eagles. And you're hearing it more and more in that room across the convention center and Radio Row. We're here in the Super Bowl experience.
Yeah, because
that's all I'm hearing. That's all I'm hearing.
Me too. And because if you don't have any bias, or if you don't have your little heart into it some way, you look at the teams.
Right.
When you watch the Chiefs play with 5 rookies on defense, I mean, I asked Andy the other day. I did a little interview for him, on that 8.5-hour show.
Right.
I hope we aired about 12 times, so we can take a break. but I said, I asked him, you and Spags, man, you're playing against Joe Burrow, the great Joe Burrow, with 5 rookies on defense. I mean, you're like, oh my God, I can't watch. And so they knew they were going to be young on that side of the ball. And I don't think any Super Bowl team has ever played with 5 rookies on either side of the ball. This is probably the first.
Right.
So that's the concern I have. And even though the Eagles are more of a run-first team, they can still sling it, and with those 2 good receivers, and Jalen can do it, man. So that's why I think people think the Eagles will win this game, should win this game. But there's always a but. Patrick Mahomes is Meadowlark Lemon, and Andy Reid has something up his sleeve. He promised on national television he's going to do that ring around the rosy thing.
No, he's not.
He did. I said, I never asked you for a favor in my life. I said, can you do that globy thing that you do? He goes, okay, and run a different play. So I just gave away your game plan, Andy.
We could see that in the. You think we're going to see that in the Super Bowl?
I'm holding his feet to the fire.
The snow globe thingy, the ring around the rosy.
You guys like that, right?
Why not?
Can you believe? I mean, can you believe that Andy Reid is a first ballot Hall of Fame coach right now, Steve? I mean, you tell stories about you first met him, right, in the old hotel there in Green Bay, right, in training camp. What was that fire alarm story? Come on, tell the fire alarm story.
You always make me tell these real personal stories.
Because they're great stories, and you're the greatest storyteller of all time. So what do you got here for Reid?
Gosh, I forgot about that. Not really, but here's what happened. So when we came in, and it was Mike Holmgren hired a young staff because maybe the budget was down or something. He took all the money, and we had like crumbs, and then Gruden and all. We are young coaches, right?
Right.
So we're staying to come in to sign the contract and start meetings and all that in the Midway Motor Lodge. You ever been there? Nope. It's got this translucent roof. You got a bunch of people sitting there trying to get a suntan, eating Doritos, drinking beer. It's like, oh, you can't get a tan here. Anyway, so we're staying there, and somebody at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and this was a time when our wives came in because we were going to house hunt.
Yeah, sure.
You got to live somewhere, right? Of
course, yeah.
So
but you're still in the Midway Motor Lodge, is that what you're? Okay.
Tammy's in.
Is that a half season, Steve? Is that what it is? One season? How many seasons? Yeah.
Anyway, so the fire alarm goes off. Now, I don't know what you do when you hear a fire alarm in a hotel. I hope it goes off so I can roll over and go to sleep, okay? And then if it just keeps going, it keeps going for 28 minutes, then you go, try to call. Anything going on here? Is this fake? Or you look outside and see if it's like smoke.
Yeah, right.
Or if you
right.
Whatever. Well, it just kept going. So now I go and I sleep just then. I sleep in my underwear, okay? So tighty whities. Dion would call them tighty whities.
Yeah, right.
Anyway.
Yeah. Right.
I stick my head out the door. I'm looking for people running, escaping, smoke, anything. And I look down the hallway, and this big red head, it looked like a lion's head, come out of the door, down about 4 rooms down the other side of the hall. And I went, "Are you Andy Reid?" He goes, "Are you Mooch?" No, I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Hey, nice to meet you." So we went out and met. He had his underwear on. I had my underwear on. We're shaking hands. How you doing, man?
In the middle of a fire alarm going off in the Midway Motor Lodge.
Hey, my wife's here. Mine too. Hey, you got to meet. I'll go back in and get our wives. Wake them up. You got to meet Tammy. You got to meet Andy. So Gail grabs a thing, puts it around her. The big comforter,
Yeah.
and comes on out. What? And we all four met in the hallway in a fire alarm in the Midway Motor Lodge, and that was where it started. It's been crazy ever since.
It has been crazy ever since. And he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Win or lose Sunday,
Yeah.
guy's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
You know what?
And that's it. I mean,
I asked him in the interview, I said, Andy, you're 64 years old, man. You're
Right.
older than I am almost. And I said, people usually think about retirement. He goes, Mooch, I don't even think about that. And he's just getting started in Kansas City.
Why
I mean,
is
he
it
got the
why-
young quarterback.
right, of course. Why do you think he's so successful? Like, what does he do? Like, what's his secret sauce here?
So Andy is a very humble guy.
Yes.
Very, he's not way up and way down like some people I know. Okay, he's like this. He's like this.
Yeah.
And he will tell you that he's lucky to have some good coaches around him. Many went on and been head coaches. Lucky to have good quarterbacks. You know, Donovan McNabb and then Alex Smith and then Patrick. And lucky to have good players and good general manager that were compatible and see things the same way in terms of building a roster. Howie Roseman, right, and then now Brett Veach. So he will credit all of those things. And so he has the ability to create that somehow, some way, and make everybody feel important, like they're doing a real important job. The most important job in the world is to be part of this team, kind of thing. I mean, he's the only guy to win 10 playoff games at two places. If he left and went somewhere else, if he got a good quarterback, he'd do it again. I think he'd do it again. He's not going to retire. His health is okay. Even though he came skiing up at Pine Mountain and Iron Mountain, blew his knee out on the ski hill, and then had to get redone surgery after that a little bit.
When does he get? Is he skiing now? You're talking about?
Look at him. He doesn't ski. He used to ski. He used to be an offensive lineman.
Right. I mean, I saw him as a 13-year-old in the punt, pass, and kick as Andrew Reid. That's one of the greatest videos ever of all time.
I know. They didn't check his birth certificate.
Oh, my God. He looks monster big. I mean, unbelievable.
I think he was standing next to an 8-year-old,
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a monster back then.
Steve Mariucci here on the Rich Eisen Show. I know you have nothing but love for him and of him. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.